So we all have that one friend that plays Apex, and no matter how many times you guys play, how many times they try to improve, how many times you try to help them, they just never really seem to get any better at the game. Well, this video is specifically made just for that friend. If you're too afraid to tell them that they suck, this is the video you could just send them and the point will get across. Because we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 signs that you might suck. Now, of course, this goes without saying, but this video is just for kicks, it's just for fun. Please don't take it too seriously. We've all had moments in our time playing Apex where we all kinda suck. Almost every single day, there's at least one game I play in Apex where I think to myself, wow, I'm actually kinda trash at this game. But this video is specifically targeted at those players who will just continuously suck forever. But before we jump into the video, I want you guys to do two things for me. First of all, comment bread if you're watching this video right now and confuse everybody in the comment section, because why not? We love to say bread on this channel. And also hit that like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Alright, so the very first sign that someone may not be very good at Apex is if they loot way too much, and as soon as they get into one gunfight, they die. I'm sure we've all seen those randoms that spend the entire game looting, trying to get the best loot, trying to get the best weapon, the best shield. They're in the crafter, they're opening every single loot box, and as soon as one team pulls up, they're the very first person to die. I've been saying this a lot recently, but if you really want to improve at Apex, you have to get into gunfights and put yourself in tough situations. If you spend the entire game avoiding gunfights and just looting, you're not really going to improve. And of course, you know, having the best loot in a game is important. Apex is a battle royale, so you want to have good loot. But you also need to find a way to balance how long you're looting for and how many gunfights you're getting into. Because if you're spending 95% of the game looting, guys, and you die your very first gunfight, it just doesn't make sense. What was all that looting for in the first place? So this is usually a very telltale sign that someone just isn't that good at Apex. If you're someone who cannot play Apex without teammates, or if you know someone who can't play by themselves, this player is most likely very insecure, doesn't have a lot of confidence in their own skill, and needs teammates to feel like they could actually play the game. Now, it's a difference between wanting to play with teammates and having to play with teammates, because I want to play with some friends sometimes. I want to go into a party and play some ranked or some pubs with friends, but I could also hold my own if I need to and I have randoms. But if you're someone who never has any good games solo queuing, you don't know how to maneuver the map, you don't know how to position yourself, you don't know how to play without having someone in Discord talking to you and kind of taking a leading role, then you're most likely not very good at this game as well. Now, of course, Apex is a team-based game, so having a team would be the most ideal situation, but you also should know how to hold your own, because if not, you'll only play Apex when your friends are on. This is why solo queue players in Apex have all my respect, because I know how difficult it is to play this game with very unpredictable random teammates. But if you also play enough solo games, your skill will inevitably improve because you're having to depend on yourself a lot more. So those players who could only play with friends to get good games are most likely not so good by themselves. So yeah. Alright, so another telltale sign that someone is not very good in Apex is if they think they're too good. For example, someone who tries to take every single fight. They're extremely aggressive, they love to rush, but as soon as they rush, they die and leave the game. I'm actually describing Octane mains and Wraith mains right now. I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you. These players are just way too confident, overconfident in their skills, and they think they're a lot better than they actually are, which is why they try to take every single fight, they lose the gunfight, and they die. And in the spirit of being honest with you guys, not gonna lie, that player is also me sometimes. Sometimes I kinda get ahead of myself, and I think I'm Asu, or it's Timmy, and I rush, and I try to be aggressive, and I end up dying. So yeah, I guess I suck at this game too. So another sign that someone might not be too good at Apex is if they blame their teammates for everything. This player takes no accountability in any situation. It doesn't matter how they die, if their teammates were even close to them. This player could actually have absolutely no teammates in the game, and they'll still find a way to blame someone. They'll blame their dog that was barking, that kind of messed up the audio for them. They'll blame the sunlight that was coming through the window at just the right time, so it messed with their vision. This player basically takes zero accountability for anything and always blames someone else. And it's a very interesting place to be in, because if you really want to improve in Apex, you have to be able to look at your mistakes to not make them again. This is what every single successful Apex Legend player does. They kind of review their gameplays, where they went wrong, how to improve, and it's a very important skill if you want to improve in any game, not just Apex. So if you guys come across a very toxic player in Apex, they might be dead while you're alive, and they're just being toxic over the mic, calling you trash, calling you bad at the game. This player most likely likely sucks. So just ignore them. If you guys know someone who thinks the wingman is trash, then most likely this player also isn't very good. Now, there's a difference between not being able to use the wingman and thinking it's just trash. Because, for example, I have good games with the wingman, I have bad days when I miss every single shot, but at the end of the day, I know the wingman is still a very strong gun if used correctly. And I think most players understand how strong the wingman is, despite if they could use it or not, right? But if someone genuinely thinks that the wingman is not a good gun in Apex, they most likely just don't know how weapons work in Apex, and they don't understand the weapon meta of the game. Because any good player could tell you how strong and effective the wingman can be. Even if you yourself can't use it, at least you know how strong it is still. Alright guys, so we're halfway through the video. Are you guys offended as yet? Alright, we're chilling. Before I move on though guys, selfish plug, I actually have a podcast right now with Thought on Smash and J Miles, 2 other Apex Legends content creators, and we post episodes once a week, so click the link down below if you want to see that podcast on YouTube. It's always a fun time. If you like Apex Legends discussions and stuff, then you most likely will enjoy the podcast. So click the link down below right now and come back and finish off this video because we have a lot of signs left to go. Alright, so next up, if you can't kill someone with one Spitfire magazine, then I'm very worried about your aim in Apex. Now, unless the enemy is like 5 million miles away and there's no way you could actually hit those shots, if you have someone inside with no cover, and let's say they're close range or even medium range, and you have a very clear shot on them, and you can't kill that person using one Spitfire magazine, maybe you have to reload, then you're most likely not very good at Apex. I'm sorry to say it, but it's just the truth. There's no way you should use more than one Spitfire magazine when you're trying to kill someone in this game because the mag size is just way too big. So all those players out there who have to reload twice, 3 times to kill one person using a Spitfire and the person is in clear sight with no obstructions, yeah, I'm sorry to say it, but you might kind of suck in this game. Sorry. Alright, so this next sign of a bad player or someone who sucks in this game actually annoys me the most because I see it so often. Someone who trash talks in Apex, but they can't back it up. These are always the random teammates that die first. And instead of just leaving the game and going about their life and their business, they want to stay in the game, they want to put on their mic, they want to use in-game chat, and do everything they can to be toxic and make your game a living hell. I actually recently came across a player just like this. So I was in some ranked lobbies, I was in a silver lobby by the way. Silver lobby, very easy lobbies, and I had these teammates who were very defensive. It actually goes back to my very first point because all these guys wanted to do in a silver lobby was loot. They wanted to loot, they wanted to land safe and just loot every single building they could. I got tired of this, so I left them and I went to get KP to rank up for myself because if you're taking 10 minutes to loot one area, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna leave you. So of course, what happened next? These teammates ended up dying after taking 15 minutes to loot. They died. And one of these randoms proceeded to tell me in the in-game chat, I have no faith in you, basically insinuating that I was trash, right? So let's take a look at the match summary, shall we? This was his damage. Of course, he had nothing else to say. All I said was GG's teammates, and I left the game. But I'm sure everyone could relate to having one very toxic random who talks the most game. They really think that they're so good and they become toxic if they die. But if you look at the aftermatch summary, they always have the least amount of damage, right? Yeah, that player sucks. It is what it is. Alright, so next up we have a very telltale sign that someone doesn't just suck, but they're most likely a bot. If you don't know how door mechanics work in Apex, then that tells me everything I need to know. I actually recently uploaded a video where I went into 20 games, and in those games I played like a complete bot. I was dying off drop just to see how the skill based matchmaking works in Apex, right? And on my very last game I came across players who were very terrible. I didn't even kill them, I just looked to see how they play and I observed, right? But these players did not know how door mechanics work, and it's a very telling sign that someone isn't good, because if you don't know when to break a door, if you don't know if you should even break a door, because some players would stand behind the door and bait you, but if you don't know how these mechanics work, then you most likely haven't had much experience in Apex, or you're in some very easy lobbies that just don't have players who even know about door mechanics. So if you have a friend out there who just doesn't know how doors work in Apex, yeah, send them this video because they most likely aren't very good. Teammates who relinquish jumpmaster. Why do you do it? I've only ever relinquished jumpmaster if I'm texting on my phone or if I need to use the bathroom, but if I'm playing the game and I have jumpmaster, why would I relinquish it and give a random teammate control of where we drop. Most players actually do this because they're not very secure in where they want to land, how they should land, if they should land at this spot or that spot, and it's also a very obvious sign of a not so experienced player in this game. Now it's a complete different situation when you're playing with your friends, right, and they actually ask you to give them jumpmaster. That's a different situation. But if you're playing with randoms and you actually relinquish jumpmaster to a random, then yeah, you guys know what I'm gonna say. And the very last sign of someone who sucks in this game, or someone who's not that good, are those players who only land safe in pubs. Landing safe in ranked, I could excuse it because it's ranked, it's a different situation, you want to actually, get placement points. But if you're only landing safe in pubs and you don't ever want to land at hot drops, you don't ever want to get into gunfights early, again, it just tells me that these players don't have much confidence in their self, because in my opinion, there's no real reason to land safe in pubs. If you want to get better at Apex, the best thing to do is actually land at a hot drop, because you get into more gunfights and you'll eventually learn how to maneuver in those very hectic, landing drops. But if you only land safe and you avoid gunfights at all costs, especially in a public match, then again, it tells me everything I need to know. So there we have it, guys. 10 signs that you might suck in Apex Legends. Again, this video wasn't meant to offend anyone. If you got offended, then I'm sorry, but that wasn't the purpose of this video. If I missed any signs of someone who sucks in Apex, leave them in the comment section down below. I want to read and see what you guys have to say. But that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed as always, and I'll see you in some more Apex. Till next time.